Jaime Munguia and his team are now making excuses not to fight David Benavidez, just like I predicted. We're going to talk about it in this video, but before we do that, make sure that you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed to the channel. So recently we start hearing the news that Jaime Munguia and David Benavidez might be getting it on sometime this fall. And when I heard the news, I said BS right off the bat. We just saw Jaime Munguia basically go in there and lose against a 39-year-old Sergey Derevyanchenko. Of course, they gave him the victory, but he lost that fight. And that's not the first fight that we clearly seen Jaime Munguia lose, but he got a gift decision. If y'all may not know, and some of y'all may remember, back in 2019, he got a gift decision against Dennis Hogan. Yeah, he should have lost the fight to Dennis Hogan, but they gave Jaime Munguia a gift decision. Now, we know how they do in boxing. If they have a fighter that is fan-friendly and they believe that he can sell a lot of tickets, they're going to do everything they can to make that fighter a superstar, and they're going to do everything they can to keep that fighter from losing his O. And we've seen that time and time again with Jaime Munguia. They've put Jaime Munguia in the ring with the worst competition in boxing for anybody that you can look at that has over 40-something fights. This man got over 40-something fights and he still ain't fought nobody. As soon as he really stepped up and fought Sergey Derevyanchenko, who is well out of his prime, 39 years old, he got his ass beat. I've been telling everybody since 2018 that Jaime Munguia ain't it. And he continues to get exposed every time they put him in the ring with decent competition. So for that reason alone, when this news started coming up that Jaime Munguia and David Benavidez could be the next fight, I said, BS. It's no way that Oscar De La Hoya is going to let this happen. It's no way that Jaime Munguia is going to want to get in the ring with David Benavidez. They want to keep his O as long as they can. But Oscar De La Hoya insisted on this fight was going down, and he insisted on that they were willing to make this fight happen. And I still said that it was BS. It wasn't going to go down because I know how Oscar moved, and I know that Oscar was not about to put Jaime Munguia in the ring with Benavidez, especially after what we saw against Sergey Derevyanchenko. Just like Oscar De La Hoya did with Ryan Garcia. Oscar did not want Ryan Garcia to fight Gervonta Davis. We found out, as I was saying the whole time the negotiations was going on, and I continued to tell people he don't want this fight to happen. He does not want Ryan Garcia to fight Gervonta Davis. And then afterwards, it came out that he didn't want the fight to happen. Ryan Garcia said that he tried to continuously stop the fight from happening. Leonard Ellaby said that he continuously tried to stop the fight from happening. So we know what Oscar does. Oscar gets out in front of the media. He talks a whole bunch of BS. He pretends like that he wants to put on the best fights for all of his top fighters, but he never does that. It never goes through because behind the scene, he's doing the exact opposite of what he's telling the fans that he wants to do. And it's no different with Jaime Munguia. Now, Jaime Munguia and his team, they're coming out using the A-side excuse not to make this David Benavidez fight happen. They're saying, we're the A-side. The only way that this fight can happen is if we control everything. Everything has to go through us. We say when we fight, we say where we fight, we are the A-side. They're even coming out saying some delusional shit. They even had the nerve enough to say that Jaime Munguia is such a big draw, he's the A-side with anybody in boxing not named Canelo Alvarez. Now, if that ain't no Teofimo Lopez, Junior Lopez delusional shit, I don't know what is. Jaime Munguia, what arenas is he selling out? What pay-per-view numbers is he doing? Well, the last time I checked, none. He ain't never been on pay-per-view, and he's never sold out a major venue. They might put him in a little small venue. He might sell those out, but he ain't never sold out no MGM, T-Mobile. He ain't never sold out no major arena. Because if he was selling out like that, well, they would have put him on pay-per-view. But they've never been comfortable with putting Jaime Munguia on pay-per-view. Plus, he ain't never beat nobody because he doesn't do nothing but fight bomb after bomb after bomb. But what I do know is David Benavidez, he just got done fighting Caleb Plant on pay-per-view. That's a lot more than what Jaime Munguia has ever done. Jaime Munguia hasn't even never fought an opponent on the level of Caleb Plant. So how is he the A side? They're not talking about 50-50. They're not talking about, well, we'll work with Showtime. They're talking about they have to be in control of everything in order for this fight to go down. Well, that's a cop-out. All that's telling me is that y'all don't want to fight, just like I knew y'all didn't. And it's a way for you to get out of the fight without just plain out coming out saying, you know what? We don't want Jaime Munguia in the ring with David Benavidez. We don't think that he's ready yet. Even though he has 40-something fights, we still don't believe that he's ready yet. Instead of just keeping it 100, keeping it real and saying that, y'all have to come with another excuse. They always say when a fighter really don't want to fight, they'll either price themselves out or they'll go and start talking about we're the A side and we need to run everything. And this is exactly what you're seeing with this situation with Jaime Munguia. Now what they're doing also, they're talking about Edgar Berlanga. They're saying that they want to fight Edgar Berlanga. Now, of course, they don't have no problem with fighting Edgar Berlanga because in Edgar Berlanga, we see the same flaws that we do in Jaime Munguia. So if they're willing to put him in the ring with anybody, well, we'll put him in the ring with somebody that has the same flaws that we do, and we'll take our chances with Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga actually has more flaws than Jaime Munguia does. He's shown to be much less of a fighter than Jaime Munguia is. But he does have a big name. So they're like, okay, let's go in there. Let's knock off Edgar Berlanga. He got a big name. We can make money doing it, and we don't have to take a big chance. But they also saying with Edgar Berlanga, we're also the A side. But you know why this fight won't happen? Well, let me tell y'all why Edgar Berlanga and Jaime Munguia won't happen either. Yes, both of these fighters do fight on DAZN, but they fight under different promotional companies on DAZN. And Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn, they don't like each other. They've been going back and forth, getting at each other's throat recently also. As a matter of fact, Eddie Hearn, he just recently came out and he shitted on Jaime Munguia's resume himself, saying that Jaime Munguia has the worst resume in all of boxing. So it ain't no way that Eddie Hearn is going to concede to be in the B side against Oscar De La Hoya in his fighter. It ain't going to happen. But I guarantee you that they be willing to sit down and try to compromise to make this Edgar Berlanga fight. They weren't willing to sit down and do any compromises with David Benavidez. So that leaves David Benavidez probably going to have to fight David Morrell, which is a much better fight. It's a much more competitive fight for David Benavidez, but it's a much more dangerous fight. I believe that David Benavidez, he can get the job done, but it ain't going to be easy. So with this being said, even though I also think that David Benavidez and David Morrell would be a super fight down the line if they let this fight, wait out a little bit. They're both very young and they can let this fight wait out a little bit. But if they do that, who else is there to fight? At 168 pounds, it ain't really nobody else for David Benavidez to fight. And it's not really nobody else for David Morrell to fight. Because the other top name fighters in that division, they don't want no smoke. So David Benavidez and David Morrell, they probably gonna have to get it on now. I don't see no excuse why this fight shouldn't happen. I know my man David Benavidez, he said, look, if I can't get a fight with Jaime Munguia, well, I'll look at David Morrell. Well, that's what it's gonna have to be, because Jaime Munguia don't want no smoke with you. And if they're not gonna order Edgar Berlanga against David Benavidez, David versus David is the fight we gonna have to see. And let Jaime Munguia and Edgar Berlanga do whatever they need to do, because they not a threat in the division anyway. All they gonna do, especially Jaime Munguia, all he gonna do is cherry pick his way throughout the division as long as he can. Anyway, it ain't going down. Let me know what y'all think about this. Drop a comment in the comment section. And what do y'all want to see next from Jaime Munguia? What do y'all want to see next from David Benavidez? And y'all can even let me know what y'all want to see from Edgar Berlanga. Make sure that you hit my like button, sub to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.